Julia Sand Letter Number 9, April 1882, Honorable Chester A. Arthur. Of course you don't care, do you, whether I am pleased or not? But, as I always growl, when I catch you doing wrong, my own sense of justice requires it, that I should make some kind of a sound when I catch you doing right. Therefore, I must tell you that your veto of the Chinese bill delighted me. And what is more to the point, a great many other people were also pleased and surprised. Don't you feel flattered how awfully surprised they are whenever you do anything good? Well, go on surprising them. But I am never surprised, because I expect it of you. If you had done otherwise, I should have been dismally disappointed. Yes, even expecting it, it put me in a very cheerful mood, so cheerful that, what do you think? I sent for a horse, and there being no, quote, heathen Chinese around, showed my superiority to race prejudice by taking a colored fellow being out to drive. He never thanked me, though, and probably expects to be rewarded. Such is the demoralizing effect of civil rights. But I enjoyed the drive. It was a windy, whimsical April day, the green mountains intensely blue, with a gleam of sunlight on one peak, a snow cloud breaking over the next, and we went out Union Avenue at a lively trot. But as Frank did not shy at anything, nor run away, and I did not take a wheel off of anybody's wagon, nor upset my own, turning around, it was not as exciting as it might have been. Still, after a year and a half of absolute passiveness, to have the reins in my hands again seemed like coming back to life. 2 months ago, I was so nervous I did not like to look at a horse, and when a gentleman took me out sleighing, was in misery all the while, in the impulse to, and the determination not to, cling to his arm. Oh, it was dreadful. But now, it only remains to me to get on a horse, and after that almost anything will seem possible. I may even get down to Washington before your administration is over. And then and there, you being the jumbo of the great American show, I should certainly go to see you. According to Washington etiquette, it would be my social and patriotic duty, wouldn't it? And I always try to do my duty. But in this case, perhaps I won't. It might be such a frightful disillusionment. Cannot you imagine the groan of despondency with which I would exclaim, "Oh, is that the man I have been writing to?" And the grunt of dissatisfaction with which you would mutter, "Why, she wasn't a nice little Mother Shipton on a broomstick at all, but only Mrs. Something Rogers." However, if my health is in any way dependent on your goodness, don't you think that there is considerable risk of my not recovering very suddenly? In fact, don't you think that there is some danger of my having relapses and only getting well finally, just in time to die of old age? Who is responsible for that mean little trick about Nehemiah M. Curtis? But why should I ask, when I know, as well as you do, that you are? The thing would not have been done without your approval. But if the blunder was a trick, it is equally true that the trick was a blunder, for everyone sees through it, and though people may be glad to have you right on the Chinese question, they may feel that the New York question strikes much nearer home. If you wish to believe that the blunder was really a mistake, there is only one way to do it. Order your oily district attorney to rectify the mistake and continue the prosecution. But you won't do that, will you? It is of no use to say a word, is it? I can see the quiet, fixed obstinacy in your face, as if I were talking to you instead of writing. I have hit against one of your strong convictions, but what is it? That General C is such a dear friend, you cannot bear to have him hurt? Or is it that he is such dexterous hand at political dirty work that you really cannot spare him? When will you learn that the President should have no such friends, that it is time for you to have done with political dirty work? What are you aiming at? The perpetration of your power? I do not condemn ambition. I think the world would be better if most people had more of it. But there is ambition that is noble, and there is ambition that is vile. What is your idea of greatness? Napoleon as St. Helena? Nero fiddling while Rome was burning? Cyrus entombed under the epitaph, "O man, I am Cyrus, who founded the Persian Empire. Envy me not, then, the little earth which covers my remains." Did you ever read these lines? Oh, may I join the choir invisible, of those immortal dead who live again, in minds made better by their presence. Live, in impulses stirred to generosity, in deeds of daring rectitude, in scorn for miserable aims that end with life, in thoughts sublime that pierce the nights like stars, and with their mild persistence urge man's search to vaster issues. So to live is heaven. Think of them sometimes, and when you have thought of them a great deal, ask yourself, is there anything in the world that can make you happier than truly to serve your fellow men. Yours sincerely, J.I.S.